The 2025 NBA draft is complete with the second round wrapping up on Thursday night. Here's a look at the notable picks on day two. First pick of the second round, the Suns trade up, take St. Joe's Rasheer Fleming. Creighton big man Ryan Kalkbrenner drafted 34th overall by the Hornets, followed by the SEC Player of the Year Janai Broome, selected by the 76ers. The Lakers traded up to 36, drafted Arkansas's Adu Thero. 59 players selected in all. Now it's time to get to work. And with that, we say hello and welcome to a fresh hour of CBS Sports HQ presented by Jeep. There's only one, alongside Director of Scouting at 24/7 Sports Adam Finkelstein, CBS Sports insider Gary Parrish, and CBS Sports NBA draft analyst Kyle Boone. I am Hakeem Dermish. The NBA draft is complete, and one of the headlines on day two, Janai Broome drafted by Philadelphia with the 35th overall pick. And Kyle, you had Broome mocked in this range. Why might this work for him in Philadelphia?
Yeah, that's right. I had him mocked number 33. He ends up going number 35. And to a situation, guys, where I think he could end up being a useful piece for this Philadelphia franchise. Janai Broome is someone who actually began his career at Morehead State. He consistently got better throughout his college career and became one of the best, most productive players in all of college basketball the last two seasons. And last season, Auburn spent most of last year as the #1 team in college basketball. They go to the Final Four. Broome was tremendous on both ends. And, I think there's some questions, right, about his athleticism. He doesn't have insane athletic pop. He's not someone who I think is going to shoot 5 threes a game, but he can space the floor. He's very savvy as a defender, and I think he could end up being a rotation type of big man in the NBA. The 76ers, I think, present a really good opportunity for him at number 35.
I love Boone's enthusiasm here. Gave him an A. I, as we know, slightly more ornery, so I went with a B. I'm a little more skeptical about whether or not he can step in and be that backup center for an often injured Joel Embiid. But it is, I think, a good positional fit and a good opportunity for a big man who was one of college basketball's best this year, GP.
He's a classic example of a great, and I emphasize the word great, college player who is a flawed professional prospect, at least as it pertains to the NBA. 6'10", 7-foot wingspan, so those numbers are not great. And then he doesn't really jump, doesn't really move. I understand that when you have somebody who has been this productive at the collegiate level, you assume on some level, well, he'll be able to figure it out. But Drew Timme is somebody who had incredible production in the front court at the collegiate level. As a rookie in the NBA, I think he appeared in 9 NBA games. That's a tough league to break into if you don't move and measure a certain way. And for all of Janai Broome's accolades and accomplishments, that is the reason that he slipped in the second round, despite being a consensus first-team All-American.
Yeah, he was competing with Cooper Flagg for National Player of the Year, ended up winning SEC Player of the Year. A big winner hearing his name called, now trying to help the 76ers resuscitate their franchise and turn themselves back into winners. Let's talk winners and losers from round two. Kyle, I'll go your way first. Who's your big winner on day two?
It's got to be the Charlotte Hornets. I like what they did early in the second round. There was a lot of value, I think, early in the second round because some guys who I projected as first-round picks, including Rasheer Fleming, who was the first pick of the second round, ends up slipping into the second round. The Charlotte Hornets, early in the 30s, they go and get Zion James from Duke. They add Ryan Kalkbrenner from Creighton. Those are at picks 33 and 34. And, I think they addressed a number of things here. James is someone who I think can play both on and off the ball. He is an elite shooter, someone who can be a bulldog defender. And then Kalkbrenner, someone who I had ranked as a top 25 prospect. He's a 7-footer from Creighton, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year winner in the Big East, leading the Blue Jays. And, I think Creighton, this Charlotte franchise, they just dealt Mark Williams. They're trying to add some size in their front court. I think Ryan Kalkbrenner addresses a need, and that was a really good value at number 34 in Thursday's draft.
Yeah, Charlotte got 2 NBA players in the second round today, but the other team that did, Phoenix, got 2 NBA players today as well. And listen, they got 2 centers yesterday. They got Kaman Walawach, and they traded for Mark Williams. But we talked about going into tonight how some teams, especially those picking atop the second round, were going to have to try and build up their depth in their rotation on their roster with these low salary spots. In fact, there is no designated salary for second round picks. That's why there's a case to be made that you'd rather pick at 31 than you would at 29. And what Phoenix did is they came in and they got Rasheer Fleming at 31, a versatile front court piece. He's long, he's athletic, he can defend multiple positions, and he can stretch the floor. So he's really tailor-made to be a role player in the NBA. And then they went and got Kobe Brea, who looks absolutely like a specialist, someone who can provide constant floor spacing, been one of the best three-point shooters in college basketball for the past couple of years. I think he's going to be able to do the exact same thing in Phoenix. GP, I think those are two teams that got a pair of legitimate NBA players, not two-way guys, NBA players.
There's no question. You guys go with teams that you feel like won. I'll go with an individual, and I'll circle back to my hometown of Memphis and highlight Cam Jones, the four-year player out of Marquette. He goes 38th overall. He's going to be a part of the Pacers organization. This is a young person in a hotbed of basketball talent in his hometown, who was, yes, recruited by the University of Memphis, but not prioritized by the University of Memphis. He ends up with Shaka Smart and has one of the best college careers any Memphis high school player has ever had. He was a consensus second-team All-American this season. Now he goes to a Pacers organization that was just in the NBA Finals, and sure, they still have in their backcourt Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mather, and TJ McConnell. But there's like 34 minutes a game that they were getting from Tyrese Halliburton that they are not going to get next season. I'm not implying or suggesting that those minutes will or should go to Cam Jones, but it is not often you get picked in the 30s by a team that was just in the NBA Finals, and there is possibly some playing time available for you, but that might be the case for Cam Jones. Really happy for him.
Well, it's certainly going to help him playing alongside and learning from TJ McConnell, who says that work ethic is a skill. That's what he sells himself on, and that's how he gets on the floor. And you got a guy like that to learn from to get on the NBA floor and make production here for the Pacers. I love that pick in Cam Jones there. All right, as for who disappointed you in round two, Kyle, who's your biggest loser?
Yeah, biggest loser, I think this round had to be the 76ers. I was curious in seeing exactly how they would handle this first pick early in the second round. Janai Broome, I just talked about. I thought he was a pretty good value here. I would have liked to see them either trade up, use some assets to move back into the late first round, or even move back and acquire multiple picks, because I do think this, for as good as Philly's talent is right now, you know, they have Jared McCain, they have Tyrese Maxey, they now have VJ Edgecombe. It does feel like, guys, that the pieces just are not there to be a real contender right now. And I think there was a lot of value in the middle to late of this second round. So I would have preferred to take multiple swings at the apple in this draft instead of trying to go with a guy who I think could fill a need in Janai Broome. I would have tried to take multiple swings later in this draft.
I didn't love what the Celtics did, and I know we're going to talk about them more, but to me, this really started at the end of the first round yesterday. I thought they had a great opportunity to draft Liam McNeely. Listen, let's 5-second summary of where they are. Jason Tatum probably out for the year, and they have to trade Porzingis and Drew Holiday to get out of that second apron. So they're down 3 starters for all intents and purposes, and we don't know. Al Horford may retire. Suddenly, there's a lack of wing depth because Sam Hauser, he might be gone as well. That's, I think, the domino that's still up in the air. Liam McNeely could have stepped right into that role. Instead, they went with a defensive-oriented prospect in Hugo Gonzalez, and then I thought they had a similar opportunity today. At 32, there were multiple NBA players available. They moved that pick when they could have had either Noah Penda or Ryan Kalkbrenner. Now, remember what I just said. Al Horford may retire. You just traded Kristaps Porzingis, so Luke Cornett is the only center on your roster. You telling me you couldn't have used Ryan Kalkbrenner? I just didn't really love it. I will say this. I thought Max Shulga has a chance at 57, so that's really the only silver lining I got for the Celtics tonight.
I know we're talking winners and losers, and I'll go with a player again. I hesitate to use that label because I don't want to call anybody a loser, but somebody who clearly had a disappointing Thursday is RJ Lewis, the reigning Big East Player of the Year, who played for Rick Pitino at St. John's. He was adamant after a disappointing final game of his college career that he was going to enter the NBA draft and stay in it no matter what. And he did, but nobody picked him. And he will play basketball professionally and make money somewhere. He'll be fine. But in this world of transfer waivers, and big NIL contracts, if R.J. Lewis would have just let it be known on the day he was leaving St. John's and entering the transfer portal that he is interested in playing college basketball, there is no doubt in my mind somebody would have put $2.5, $3 million in front of him. Now, once upon a time, I understood the logic behind people who had just accomplished whatever they felt like they wanted to accomplish in college, and they wanted to get on with their professional career, whatever that looked like. I understand that. And I guess on some level, I still understand that. But when you are walking away from quite literally millions of dollars to play college basketball and into a door of complete uncertainty, I don't know that a financial advisor would tell you that that's the best thing for you to do. This feels like a missed opportunity, at least in the short term, for R.J. Lewis.
It felt like unfinished business, right? Sitting on the bench to end your career. To me, it was like, don't you want to go back to school, make a name for yourself once again? I know you were a Big East Player of the Year. Go somewhere else. Go to the SEC. There's plenty of holes in the SEC to go get paid there, and then help yourself the next year, especially with the class that was coming out and the players coming out.
Ultimately, it's his life. It's his career. He needs to make those decisions. I'm not going to stand up here and act like I should make them for him. But if this were me or if it were my son, we would have sat down and had real conversations about realistic stuff. I know you want to be in the NBA, but you might not get picked. I know you don't want to play college basketball again, but you might get paid $3 million to do it. This shouldn't have been that hard of a decision, but they were head first going this direction, and I wish them luck.
It's the business of basketball.
Rick Pitino put out a tweet 2 days ago. He said, someone will get a great one with Kadari Richmond.
Yeah.
You will be shocked how good he is on and off the court. That was his only tweet since June 23rd when he was throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game. So nothing about R.J. Lewis. I think it's a sad story, quite honestly. Left millions of dollars on the table.
And this is something I say all the times, whether it's in a press conference or with a tweet. Anytime somebody's communicating, you can tell a lot by what they say. You can also tell a lot by what they don't say, what they leave out. Rick could have sent that tweet about anybody. He sent it about that player, not the other player. And yeah, the whole thing just got ugly at the end of the season, and it's went from an incredible story, winning an outright Big East title in Midtown Manhattan, to
Player of the Year,
to sitting on the bench as your season ends. We now know your college career ends there, and now this night that you have dreamed about forever, I assume on some level, it clearly didn't go the way you were hoping.
Well, perhaps maybe there's hope that he'll sign a two-way deal and he'll get on a roster and try to make a name for himself. But unfortunately, he does not hear his name called in the NBA draft. Kyle Boone, Adam Finkelstein, and Gary Parrish here on CBS Sports HQ. And for more awesome draft content, join Gary Parrish, Matt Norlander, delivering a full NBA draft recap. Who got it right? Who got it wrong? The Eye on College Basketball podcast. Download and follow right now. Two of the last three #1 overall picks went on to win Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flagg is the favorite to continue the trend, but should you lock in on Cooper in his rookie campaign? That's next on CBS Sports HQ, presented by Jeep.